what about physical challenges? What might some of those passengers be experiencing right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no one goes into an adventure or an exploration expecting something like this to happen. Ocean Gate has had over 200 dives. I think this was the third one to the Titanic. And like you said, the previous interview said, this is an extremely experienced crew. So if anyone can keep themselves calm, conserve oxygen, and conserve resources, I believe that it would be them. Um, I mean, so if they've lost power, things to worry about are, is it getting too cold? And how much water, how much food do they have on top of how much oxygen they have? It's a small space, but it's not extremely small. There's room for them to move about. There's a toilet in there. They have, five seats. So I think comfort wise, I'm hoping that they have a reasonable supply of water that they can conserve. And like was said before, the oxygen supplies, that's a best guess based on standard use. But people who know how to stay calm, minimize talking, they may be more likely to extend that further. I would be The first thing on my mind emotionally would be my family and second guessing the decisions that I had made. Um, and I'd be feeling a lot of gratitude for the people I've loved in my life, and I'd be feeling sad if the worst came to the worst that I was going to leave them this way.
There is a psychological challenge, really, here, as you're hinting at there, Sarah. These are these are experienced explorers, most of them. Most of them are fully aware of what they're getting into. They're very intelligent people. One is the owner of Ocean Gate, the company who organised the expedition. So they'll be well aware of all the risks involved. Is there any challenge presented by the constraints of the vessel, trying to conserve oxygen? Does that sort of physically mean anything or psychologically mean anything for any of those passengers? Anything that they might be experiencing or they have to be aware might be as a result of trying to conserve oxygen?
I mean, if anyone who doesn't move for a period of time is at risk of getting a blood clot, and a blood clot can quickly become a pulmonary embolus and can be a fatal event. So you're balancing not wanting to move around and conserve oxygen with making sure you're trying to move the muscles in your legs somewhat so that you're at lower risk for blood clots. But people sitting still for as short a time as 4 hours have gotten blood clots. So from a medical perspective and not being able to move around a lot and not wanting to move around a lot, I'd be worried about that.
Yeah, the vessel's 6.7 meters long, isn't it? And when I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at plans, I gather only in one of the seating positions can you stretch your legs, which sounds crazy to me. But I guess, of course, these vessels are designed to do what they need to do to maximum effect. So you'd hope that those crew members can move around. I've also, been hearing things like, that sometimes crews take sleeping pills or some sort of sedative on board vessels like that, so that if they do need to conserve oxygen, actually one of the best ways to do it is to sort of put yourself to sleep for a while.
Sort of like a temporary hibernation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you want there. That's a balance also, because you want to be able to keep your wits about you in case something happens that you need to respond to. And you'd want to rotate people through so somebody always has a chance to stretch out, and you'd also want to be making noise, probably at fairly regular intervals to knowing that crews are looking for you. You'd want to be making some rhythmic taps and making some noise, which might make it difficult for the other people in the pod to actually get some sleep.
Yeah, we've of course been hearing about noises. We know that they've been picked up, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't know that they're from the
Mm-hmm.
vessel, and they've not been able to confirm that they're at 30-minute intervals either. If a successful rescue is made, and of course it does depend a bit on whether the vessel is found on the surface or some way below, what will happen to those on board? So if there is a rescue situation, what is the priority then for those people on board? Where do they get sent to? Do they get put into a compression chamber immediately? How would that work, Sarah?
I think some of that depends. If the cabin has depressurized down there, everybody was killed instantly. So we have to hold out hope that the cabin is still pressurized towards the surface. I expect them certainly to be admitted to hospitals for observation. There should be some testing to make sure nobody has DVTs or pulmonary emboli after sitting still for so long. And certainly it's going to be difficult getting them to the surface. I've been holding out hope. There's a vessel from Magellan in the UK. I've been holding out hope that they'll mobilize that crew to at least allow them to go down deep and help look for them. And for some of us, just the adventure and exploration ignites a joy and a fire within us that helps us to acutely feel that life is the ultimate gift. And unfortunately, I've lost several friends in avalanches and river accidents where they didn't set out on that adventure expecting that to happen. The likelihood that they could have made a successful journey down there and made it back up was what they all expected.